Okay, so we found the derivative of sine, we found the derivative of cosine, and we've already found the derivatives of tangent and cotangent. So we just have two more normal trig functions left, and that is secant and cosecant. So let's go ahead and start, right? Because once again, you can use these guys to help you find the derivative of secant and cosecant. So let's start with the derivative of secant. Now, you can do this the way you would do tangent, right? Rewrite this using, well, a quotient, right? So 1 over cosine. Except, well, there's no function on top, so you don't really want to be using the quotient rule if you don't need to, right? If you ever have a situation like this where you're taking the derivative of 1 over f of x, don't use the quotient rule. Rewrite it, right? So that way you don't need to use this complicated crap that's the quotient rule. Rewrite it as whatever functions in the bottom raised to the negative 1. Because it's the exact same thing. It's just now you don't need to use the stupid quotient rule. Now you just have a power. So go ahead and differentiate. The outside function is the thing raised to negative 1, right? So taking the derivative of that, we have to drop this negative 1 off to the side. The inside stays the same, so you still have cosine x. And then you subtract 1 from the power, so you get negative 2. Then you have to multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of the inside is just the derivative of cosine, which we see is negative sine. So, like this. And then we see that this negative sign right here and this negative sign right here cancel to make a positive. You can also rewrite this guy right here to be 1 over cosine squared. So let's copy down the sine squared first because it's pretty basic. And then this cosine x to the negative 2, you can just write it in the denominator like this. Okay, like that. Because flipping it down makes the exponent positive. So that looks much nicer. Now, where do we go from here? Well, you can rewrite the bottom as cosine times cosine, right? Cosine x times cosine x. Now, why would you want to do that? Because this looks more simplified than whatever the hell that is. Well, you can also rewrite sine as 1 times sine. So let's rewrite this as 1 times sine. So now you can see that if you just split up the fraction into two things that are multiplied, well, the first one right here, 1 over cosine, is just secant, right? And then the second one, sine over cosine, is just tangent. So that's how you get the derivative of secant x. You don't even need the product rule. Just rewrite this guy using the power rule, right? That's how the reciprocals work. And the same idea applies for cosecant, because cosecant is the cosecant is the inverse of sine. So just like how you can rewrite secant as cosine to the negative 1, you can rewrite cosecant as sine to the negative 1. Like this. Oh, I need the sine x to the negative 1. Okay, and one distinction, sine to the negative 1 of x is not equal to sine x to the negative 1. And this is stupid because it's just a notational thing. But this guy right here is arc sine of x, which just means inverse sine, right? And that is obviously not equal to like 1 over, this is obviously not equal to cosecant, right? So that's just one notational thing you have to be careful of. So, and same thing applies for here, right? This is obviously not arc cosine. This is just secant. So that's one thing, right? If you want to raise it to a negative 1 power, make sure you put it on the outside and not on the inside like that. All right, so next, use power rule to differentiate, right? You want to drag this negative sign in the power out to the front. You keep the inside the same, so the inside is still going to be sine x. And then you subtract 1 from the power. Next, you have to multiply by the derivative of the inside function, the derivative of sine, right? And that's just cosine, right up here. So just multiply the side, the cosine. All right, same deal as what's going on here. Let's copy down, well, let's put the negative sign down first, obviously. Let's put the cosine on top. And then just like how we flipped this cosine down to the bottom, we can flip this sign down to the bottom by just removing the negative sign on the exponent. So now we have a sine squared x in the bottom. I'm pretty sure the rest, just, copy and paste. It's the same exact process. Rewrite this using two factors, right? You have 1 over sine times 1 over, sorry, not 1, times this cosine. And then on the bottom, you have the remaining sine. So this negative sign stays. 1 over sine is just cosecant. And then cosine over sine is just cotangent. So that's how you find the derivative of cosecant. You just flip it and then use the power rule, right? So that's both of those. So if you ever forget on the test, that's how you find it, right? Just make sure you know these two, because these two are pretty fundamental to everything else.